with what I've got when I get up in the morning and go to work. It was already written, done and said, so you can stay. From diamonds to gold. At first I thought she left me cause I didn't buy her enough my day. But just like the wind, there's no real way it can be explained. I guess it's the way I smile when the doing stories been changed around. A big mouth. You got a big mouth.
You know, would appreciate it. So I'm based out of London, but you know, we got people from all over the world who watch halftime chat. So it's really going to be good to hear from you and stuff.
Okay, it's all good.
Yeah. So for my viewers, I mean, I would remember in high school, you know, listening to you guys. And now I went to high school in Africa, in Nigeria, and you guys were popular out there, you know, with One Love and Friends and Freaks Come at Night. So you know, sometimes you might be in New York thinking we're cool around New York, but you've gone all the way to Africa back in the 80s. So a lot of hip hop artists don't do that now, but I always like to go to the beginning, you know, and especially starting with you. How did you get into? Where exactly you from, and how did you get into music?
All right. Originally from Brooklyn, New York,
Okay.
and I was introduced to hip hop back in the days. They called it rap. I was introduced to it in 1977, my first year of high school. I moved from Brooklyn, New York, to a place called Roosevelt Island. And my freshman year of high school, we would go around 12 noon, become lunchtime, and we would go in the lunchroom, have lunch, and we'd have like maybe 20 minutes left on the clock. We would go into a room called the Spark Room, and they would be in there playing cards or playing spades and backgammon.
Yes.
And that's when they had a big radio in there. And I was like, yo, who brings a radio to school? And they're not saying anything. And I heard this sound going, yes, y'all. We like our sound loud, and clear. This is DJ, J, Africa, bam, bada, and the mighty Zulu. I was like, yo, what is that? And one of my partners who I met my freshman year, his name was Ski Jump. He was a break dancer, and he was also a rapper. He said, yo, that's rap.
Wow.
And they had cassettes at the time. They were playing cassettes. And once my ear heard it, man, I fell in love with it from that day on.
I mean, prior to that, what were you listening to? Because you're talking 77. That's really old. That's really a different era from hip, you know. And I think
yes, from hip hop. Yeah, it was a new beginning. So back then, what I was listening to was, you know, my mother coming up in the family that liked music. My mother would play blues like B.B. King and Bobby Blue Band. But we also had, coming from Brooklyn, every Saturday morning, we would look at Soul Train.
Yeah.
We had Soul Train with Don Cornelius. So that's how we knew about dance steps and what new dances was coming out. But not only that, we had a station in New York called WWRL. And they would play all the top R&B hits, like from Al Green to Barry White to James Brown to Joe Tex and Earth, Wind and Fire and Kool and the Gang. So that grabbed me as knowing about music before hip hop and before rap. So I already had an ear for music and good music, funky music, you know?
Yeah. So when you did hear African Bambaataa, what did you think? What was your thoughts?
You know, listening to the music, I mean, they were playing break beats at the time, and they would rap over the break beats. So you might have heard a song like the Pointer Sisters, Yes We Can, and they would loop that beat back and forth, scratch it and cut it up back and forth, and they would rap over the top of it. Or a song like Herman Kelly, Dance to the Drummer's Beat. But hearing it for the first time, it was just like a new wave. You know, it's like just like preparing yourself for a Michael Jackson new single or a new video.
Wow.
But back then they didn't have videos at that coming out at the time. So they were just street rappers playing in the park or playing in little hole in the walls.
Yeah.
So hearing that and hearing Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and hearing the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five, the Fantastic Romantic Five with Grand Wizard Theodore, you know, those was people that was coming straight out of, you know, them same guys was in high school at the time or were just coming off the streets.
Wow.
So and you know, at that time we were playing, I mean, other DJs and MCs were playing in the park. So I was just getting the wind of it. So I wanted to be a part of it because it was like a new wave.
Yeah. And at that time, were you thinking about actually starting to create your own craft as a rapper, or what was your thought?
Yeah, man, I wanted to be a rapper, and I wound up rapping before I became a DJ. But
Yeah.
just by hearing it, I had to go see this. I had to see it live because I'm hearing it on tape, but I want to see this live. So my brothers that was in my class, or the couple of brothers I met that was in my school, will give me flyers or when the next jam was going to be. And I'll be like, I didn't care if I came from Queens. I went to the Bronx, T Connection, Harlem World, just to go and see these guys. I wanted to see it live. And to my attention, it was like, this is what I want to do. I know my dream was to be an NBA basketball player, but you know, I was good in ball, and yeah, that was my dream. And the rap scene came in, and I ran with it, man. And Pioneer passed away, a good friend of mine. He was an icon, Master Dawn from the Deaf Committee. He would wind up being in my class that next year, and he showed me the ropes of the turntables. And it was another brother I met, may he rest in peace, was WizKid. You remember the song Play That Beat? Wanted to play for me, Mr. DJ. Yeah, he was another brother that showed me the ropes about the turntables. And right after that, I said, I forget about rapping and said, I want to be a DJ now.
Okay. Now, just to go back, you did mention that you wanted to get into the NBA. Were you really good at what you were doing, or was it just you enjoyed basketball? I mean,
I was good at what I did, you know, at playing ball. I was a point guard. Wow. You know, I was a great penetrator, and I was a good player that liked to dish the ball. And, you know, I had a decent game, a real decent game. And once the rap game came out, I said, forget about that. I'm going with this.
Now, I mean, and I'm wondering, because back in those days, I mean, did hip hop, was it in a situation where it was making money that you could think, if I had to choose a career that I could possibly make a living out of, would you not have gambled at basketball more so than this new form of music that's not on TV?
It was a good thing. That was a good question you answered there, because you got to look at it. To make the NBA back then, you had to be at least 6'8" or 6'5".
Okay.
So I figured, you know, at that time, I ain't gonna make no NBA. You know, at that time, they wanted real tall guys at that time, and I'm just in high school, and I'm just following the wave. You know, it's something that grabbed me. Like they said, when God places you, you belong there.
Yeah.
And God placed me there. But like you're saying, we didn't know this was going to turn into money. Everybody was doing this for free. They were making a little bit of money doing shows in these little clubs or little hole in the walls, but it wasn't that much money.
Yeah.
But who would think it'll be $1 billion business right now?
Oh yeah, especially now. But back then, why did you? Because I know because I remember when hip hop came to my school, there were people who could just write, but they couldn't flow with it. But then there are people who could flow, but they needed someone else to write. Did you try to rap and flow, and then you thought it wasn't working? Or because to turn to, most people would want to be in front and say the words instead of being at the back. So what made you make that transition?
You know, my friends that grew up with me too, they were saying a lot of times, yo, Drew, you just be looking at things and just start rapping to it. I was good with top of my head.
Okay.
You know, anything I would see, I would just go on it, or if I think of something, I would just come up with something and rap about it. But once I seen DJs like, you know, the Grandmaster Flash and Grand Wizard Theodore, I said, I want to be a Grandmaster. And I just took it and started DJing. Master Dawn, like I said, he showed me the ropes. And I used to go to his house after school, and he showed me the ropes about doing tricks and all that. And then I started working after school, and I said, man, I got to get me some turntables.
Okay.
And I got the one turntable, and at that time I was like 16, 17, to the point where my mother said, I'll get you one. My mom's brought me one, and I brought one, and I brought the mixer, and I took it from there. And it was good because I was going to school in Manhattan. A lot of my friends that was in my class or in the school, they come from Harlem. So they kept me up to date with all the break beats. And I had every break record just about that came out, and I was up on time with it and everything. And I just said, forget the rap. I'm going to DJ.
Now, and in my head, I can imagine the DJ is the person who can go to any party because you can make a little bit more money back then as a DJ, parties and gigs. Was that on your radar? You're thinking, or what was it that enticed you about being a DJ?
Yes. Man, being a DJ, I really felt if you was a DJ, you was like in charge.
Yeah.
And you would call the shots. And to that point, I want, because everybody else had groups, so I wanted to perform across the bridge. They were playing music in Queensbridge. I know you probably hear about Nas, mentioned Q.
Yeah.
And
QB, yeah.
we used to play out here in the park. Yeah, it's right across the bridge from where I lived. We lived on a little island, but right across the bridge was Queensbridge, and I can hear them playing music like on a Saturday or something. We would go over there. And me going to Manhattan, I had all the break beats, and I used to see these DJs like the Disco Twins and Dr. Bob Lee, and Marley Marl was out there at the time too, and Cousin Bruce. Different DJs was out there. It made me want to get involved, and going over there to play in Queensbridge was a beginning because people in Queens got a chance to hear me spin.
Yeah.
And they found out that I had skills, and it was like, yo, he lives across the bridge there. But we formed wound up forming a group called Grand Master Dee and the Jazzy 4 MCs. And one of the MCs had recorded a record with Marley Marl. Her name was Dimples D.
Oh, female. Okay.
Yeah. She made a record called Sucker DJs.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we did fairly well. We started doing local shows around the neighborhood. But right after that, I formed a group with two female, Dimples D and Giggles G, and we opened up at Harlem World for the Fantastic Romantic Five battle and the Cold Crush Brothers. And then after that, we just slowed down and everybody went their separate ways. And I wound up going to WHBI one time to visit Mr. Magic because I should call the radio station all the time. And he was the first to break rap on radio. And I used to call him up, and he said, come on down and help me promote this show. And it was a show with all Sugar Hill Records at that time, all their artists on the label. And I went down there to get some flyers to help give them out. And I wound up meeting Jalil, master rapper Jalil, and we connected, we exchanged numbers, and we kept in touch. And that's when he told me he was forming a group. And, we all was in 3 different groups. And so from that point on, me and him connected, kept in touch. Him and X came by my crib, and we talked about putting the group together. But they already had a demo out for Mr. Magic.
Okay.
And from that point on, we kept in touch. And once they seen me spin, they knew I had skills, and they put me part of the group. That was like in 82, 81, around 80, 81.
Okay. I think the one thing I wanted to get back to is that, first you were hooking up with female MCs. Was there a reason why you were leaning towards them in those early days?
My thing was, I wanted to hurry up and get a record out.
Okay.
That's I was going to take anybody. If we could get a record deal. Yeah, I was going to different record companies back then, because it's not like today where you go on the internet and you got a record deal. We had to go to record companies. They had record companies. You would look at their album cover and see their address.
Oh yeah.
And I would go up there with a demo tape. Yeah, I would go knock on their door with a demo tape. and let them listen to it. And then they, you know, a lot of those labels, they were major labels. Some of them, they were scared. They were scared to mess with rap. And then later on, everybody wanted to rap
Yeah, yeah.
their label.
But back in those days, rap was very. It wasn't hard. It was very. It was simple. I don't want to say simple, but I don't know. Apart from African Bombardment was and Public Enemy, what was the content back in those days, especially with the groups
You
you
know,
guys had?
I really felt back in those days, a lot of rappers was rapping about themselves,
Yeah.
you know, and that's all it was about, to tell you how much rhymes they had, how much clientele they had, and
Okay.
that's what it was all about. It was all about promoting themselves and bigging themselves up and
Yeah.
making themselves look big and making them look like they the baddest rapper in the world. And then what happened was a lot of the records that were coming out, to me, felt like it was underground. You know, the first record you hear, then you heard like Spoonie G and the Treacherous Three. They were great. That was with Kumo D.
Yeah.
And then you got to look at the Funky Four plus one more. They were great. Then you heard the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And then you heard the Disco Four. And those groups came out on Enjoy Records. To me, the first label really was pushing rap was Enjoy Records, but the first rap record was King Tim the Third. And he did that with the group called Fatback Band. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Back. Yeah.
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 I'm here.
Yeah. But then,
Mhm.
so back in those days, so people were getting signed from high school. You start to notice, well, people are getting signed, so we can actually get ourselves a deal here. So it was about packaging the right type of content together. When were you helping write any of the lyrics with the groups that you had in those early days?
No, I left the lyrics to them.
Yeah.
I left the lyrics to them, and I was just trying to create some beats. And you know, at that time we had a little drum box and we had a little echo chamber. But I would leave the rapping to them, and they would come up with routines.
Okay.
And you know, every rap group at that time had routines. You know, that's what made you look good. I mean, like the Funky Four and them, they had routines, and the Cold Crush Brothers had routines that was out of this world. They would take a television show and turn it into a routine. Like
Wow.
Gilligan's Island, they would rap about, but the harmonize was Gilligan's Island, or they
Wow.
would rap about one of the other shows. Could have been the Brady Bunch, could have been anything, but they would come with that that feel of the TV show.
Yeah. So then you go to, I mean, because when Sugar Hill Gang, it was Curtis Blow, was he already out by that time? By the time when you were searching your own deal?
Yeah. Kurt was coming out now, and I give Kurt a lot of credit, because Kurt to me was, I looked at him as the first big rap star
Yeah.
that hit the mainstream. You know,
Yeah.
I give Sugar Hill all the credit, but when I saw Curtis Blow, that made you want to go hard, because Curtis
Wow.
Blow, he was like, he was the king of rap,
Yeah. Yeah.
and he was on a major label,
Wow.
Polygram and Polydor. You know, that was a major label.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when you thought, well, we could really do something if we do. What was your thought, that we have to hone our craft?
Yeah. All we gotta do is just come with something real. One of these companies are gonna want it, because it's hot now. It's hot now. But you got to think about it. They wouldn't touch it on radio. So Mr. Magic deserves all the credit. May he rest in peace. He knocked the door down because he was the first to play rap. So he played every rap that came out. It would come across, and you
Wow.
only can hear it at 2:00 in the morning. And 2:00 in the morning. And next thing you know, the other radio stations were like scared to touch rap. They would play the instrumental. And yes. And to groups like Curtis Blow after a while, you know, that made you want to play it,
Yeah.
or King Tim the Third. But you got to look at when Sugar Hill broke the doors down too with Rappers Delight. That was Good Times from Chic. So that was a crossover record, and that record was already a hit. So all you did was put rap on top of it, and it's another hit.
Yeah. Okay. So that kind of makes sense, I guess, when you play something more familiar, because Curtis, I mean, as I said, he was big even in Africa, you know, with basketball, if I rule the world, and stuff like that. So
Yes.
when you know you're big, you're crossing over across to even Africa. That's
Yeah.
big.
You,
So, so
you're
you,
right 100%. And you got to look back. Sorry about that. Back then, they didn't know they was going to cross over, but it did cross over. But Curtis Blow had came out at the right time because he came out with Christmas rap.
oh
And it
yeah,
was during Christmas time. So he caught the sales, he caught the attention and everything. That record was funky.
wow. So then that's when you
Yes.
thought, man, this could just really work. We just need to get ourselves get, you know. So
Yeah,
it had,
get our foot in the door. We need to get our foot in the door. And that's when I told you right after the group split up and I connected with Jalil and it went from there. And Jalil and X had connected where they got a deal through Jive Records, and Jive Records, the owner, Clive Davis, Clyde Clover, was from Africa, South Africa. He's from
yeah, yeah. Although he's yeah. So you meet up with Jahil and X, and what was it about them that you then thought this could work? How did you know them?
Well, I met him at the radio station. He was doing the intern for Mr. Magic
Okay.
on the radio. He would answer the phones for him. And at that time, they worked on the demo for Mr. Magic, and Mr. Magic started playing it. And at that time, they had a DJ, but he had went into the military, and so they were looking for another DJ. Yeah, and the next thing you know, I just went that way.
So now it's I think people of this generation would probably wonder the DJ isn't as prominent as it was back in the day, you know, where you Grandmaster J or Spinderella or Grandmaster Flash was part of the clique. It's even though two people might rap, the DJ was part of it. It's a lot changed now. So if you give an insight, when they brought you on as a DJ, what was your role as the DJ in a group where they're writing lyrics and rapping?
Um, my part was just to be the DJ, and at that time they wasn't really signing DJs with record deals at that time.
Oh, I think the
And
volume just went down.
oh, you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Okay, so back in yeah,
At that time, they wasn't signing DJs as record deals with the rappers. The rappers were coming with the deal first.
yeah.
And even though it was being part of the crew, I felt I was part of the crew from the beginning when the career first happened. But the two albums they did, they went overseas. They had did that without me because at the time I had just got married then way back in the 80s, and I didn't make the first two albums. But Jalil, they knew I was down, so Jalil put my name on the album.
Oh,
Well, one of the bonus tracks was Grand Master Dee, instrumental, and we took it from there, and being part of it. And then when we went to sign with MCA, you know, I signed with MCA and signed with the thing with Jermaine, the other album with Jermaine Dupri. But as far as that, I was on the album cover for Back in Black, and I did Funky Beat, and that was one of the hot tracks too that I
yeah,
was involved with Larry Smith. And I want to give a big shout out to Larry Smith, may he rest in peace,
yeah,
because he's responsible for all those big hits we had. And you got to give Jalil the credit for incredible handwriting with the pen,
yeah.
writing all those lyrics. And all my hat goes off to him too.
So
You hear people talk about rap and who did what, but a lot of times they tend to forget the writers and the producers.
yeah, no, Larry Smith was heavily involved in your production and stuff. But in those early days, so when they got signed to Jive, they were the only two that put their name to pen to paper.
Yeah.
Was
Because Mr. Magic was supposed to get the deal first, because at that time they had the world's famous Supreme Team. The Supreme Team had a Supreme Team show on that same station, HBI, and they had that record they did with Mark and McClary, Buffalo
okay,
Girls,
yeah,
and
okay,
all
but
that. Yeah, so world famous Supreme Team show, Hey DJs. Yeah, so the next thing you know, Jive Records offered Magic a contract, and Magic was in the contract with the radio station, so he couldn't do it. So he
Oh,
passed it on to John Lil. And
okay.
John Lil was going to do it by himself, but he knew X didn't live that far from him, and he wanted X to join the clique. And he put X down and took him with him, and they recorded the album.
Out in Germany, I believe, or is it
No, in London,
in
England.
London? Okay,
Battery,
they came.
Battery Studio in London.
Okay, they came to the UK. Okay, to do
But
the.
yeah, you talking about the one they did? They did the one with Thomas Dolby, and they did one with Connie Planks.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So when they recorded the album, is it then, I guess it's the shows, and that's where you sort of come into full force with the live performances and stuff like that?
Yes. At that time, the records were done, and we broke ground by doing shows in Europe. We did late '83. We went to Europe for 3.5 months.
Wow.
We did we did England, Germany, Belgium, Paris, France, Switzerland, Munich, Frankfurt, Amsterdam, Holland, Berlin. Before they tore the wall down, we had to go around that wall.
My goodness. What was it like? I mean, you think about it, you're coming from New York, Brooklyn, and now you're out in Europe, different environment, different culture, playing music to, I would assume, predominantly white audience.
It was unbelievable. Never in a million years I would think this would happen. I'm thinking we're gonna make records and stay right here in the States. I'm not thinking about Europe. And we at that time we were touring Europe. The Hall of Notes were touring behind us. The Clash,
Wow.
Grandmaster Flash, and them were out there. Madonna doing a German TV show with us out there. We saw so many groups that were coming. Devo, and it was the greatest feeling, the greatest feeling in the world, man. I mean, I would never change it for nothing. And to see the response, they don't speak our language, but to hear them go with the songs back and forth and chanting. And in London, they had the whistle posse where they blow the whistle when they feel it. Yeah, man. It was, oh man, beautiful. I mean, we've been so many beautiful places, man. And just like Japan, going to Japan, I remember as a kid watching Godzilla. And watching knock the buildings down. And here I'm standing in front of this building. The hotel and everything. Yeah, man. Paris, man, going to Paris, and man, beautiful. Beautiful.
What did it do for you guys, going to these, being exposed to that? And then how did it affect the lyrics and the type of music you put out when you're exposed to that international market?
Well, I looked at it like, I would say it sharpens your show, because, if you're in the States and you're performing in New York, you better not mess up, because everybody that knows hip hop can tell when it's a slip up. So you can slip up for a while. We got 3 months to slip up in Europe, but when we get back to the States, we better be polished and ready to go.
Yeah.
But it was just the warm welcome they gave us, man, and the different technology of music, and you felt other music, because when being in London, I heard imports that I never heard in the States.
Wow.
So we got a chance to hear, they knew about beats, break beats, they might have heard it, but these groups were getting funky at that time, and they were making great songs, the lyrics was great. Just when you, what's his name? The Hall of Notes came out, they were great with their songs. And then it was, what was his name? Grace Jones came out with, felt like a go-go, Slave to the Rhythm.
Yeah.
And oh my God, that beat was hitting hard. And then you hear Another One Bites the Dust. You hear that was funky too. So yeah, you're hearing Queen, you're hearing all these groups, but they felt like they was turning and crossing over to hip hop. They all wanted a funky beat in their song.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. So then, as a DJ, were you then, would you then take ideas from all these things for your show?
Yes, I would play some of them songs in our show, because at that time we might have had 2 songs that was out, and then we had an album out. We only played a certain amount of songs that we would do, but we would make the show interesting, because I would come out before the group come out, and I'd do like 25 minutes or 20 minutes with all different songs. Man, and you got to take my hat off to Trevor Horn. Trevor Horn was an incredible producer too.
Yeah.
He came out with some beats too. Oh man, it's funky.
Wow.
And Sly and Robbie too.
Yeah. I mean, so when you guys were signed and your records were hitting, was there any, I don't know, I won't say rivalry, because I think, in the 90s, hip hop went into a sort of a dark place. But back in those days,
In the 90s.
no, but we're going back to your time, back in those days when you
Yeah,
guys were
no.
coming out. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we can get into that. Oh, that's beautiful. You got to look at it. We were on tour and we were signed to Russell Simmons. Russell Simmons became our manager. So we had a camp full of all the hottest rappers. We had Run DMC. We had Curtis Blow. We had I think Dana Dane wound up signing with Russell. We had so many. We had the Beastie Boys. We had LL Cool J. We had so many artists that was signed. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. And we had the top artists under Russ management. So Russell will take all the groups we had and put us on tour. We had Jimmy Spicer, Super Rhymes. He would take in places and do shows. All of us would wind up getting together and say, let's do a tour together. As a matter of fact, it was called the Fresh Fest. And you got to give the credit to Cedric Walker. He was out of Atlanta. He does the Universal Circus. And he came up to Russell with an idea and he wanted to put it together. And it wound up being a tour called the Fresh Fest. And that was the first major rap tour.
Wow.
That went around the world.
So being on the camp with LL and Beastie and Run DMC, so you guys became, it wasn't a rivalry, it was more of a we're in this together.
No, you got to look at it. We had I forgot Public Enemy. I got to mention them. Public Enemy and Stetsasonic. They were on the tour too. And you know what? We knew, each group knew when they went on stage they had to kick ass, because you didn't want to look like you wasn't good. Yeah. So we was already polished because we was overseas first. So we was ready for the tour. But other than that, every group wanted to do better than the next group. Every group they wanted to come on stage and say, yo, we kicked ass tonight. Yeah. But we used to go back and forth, Run DMC and Whodini. We was always neck to neck. We could always say that. And then LL was like the new kid on the block when he came out with I Need Love and all that. He was a new kid. He was a young guy. So he was like a freshman coming in. But we all welcomed each other because we all was family, because we was under the same management. And you got to give credit to Cut Creator, LL Cool J, being on tour, all of us on tour, Eric B and Rakim. And we all stuck together as a family. Nobody could come do something to anybody or start something with us because we all was family. But other than that, we used to always come and tease each other. Yo, we kicked ass tonight. We kicked ass. But it was always fun, man. Everybody had a good time. That unity was so important, because I knew right after us, different groups used to go on tour and they used to always be ready to fight each other. And I couldn't understand that. If you making money and we making money, you should be happy. So we want to make the tour last. We don't want no problems. All we want to do the show, get the money, and go home.
Now, I think the question that I have, a lot of my viewers would probably be wondering, because we're hearing a lot of the issues in the 90s with the labels, the contracts, publishing, management, stealing money and all that stuff. For you guys, what was it? Did you guys go in knowing the business about, being on contracts and royalties and publishing, and then also being on tour, who's got our money and stuff? Because I think sometimes you can enjoy the show but forget that it's actually a business, and no one looking out for you unless you look out for yourself.
That's right. At that time, you when you fresh in the business and you got management and you thinking positive, and like you said, it's like you got to have, today's time, you got to have 3 people watching. You got to have like 2 lawyers and management, and then you got to have a accountant that you can trust. Because if you got it, we had an accountant, one of the top ones, Burke Vidal, and may he rest in peace. He was a good guy to me in my eyes. And, my main thing is you always have to be on top of your game 24/7. Wow. It's like people should always say, and I used to wonder why they used to say that, but it was true. They said, today's game, you got to sign your own checks. Don't let nobody sign nothing for you. So, you watch and you putting money into into going into the booking agent, not the booking agent, but your accountant. You know, you got money on the road because you received the back end, but the upfront money is going straight to your accountant. And you know, after a while, they're saying they paid for this, they paid for that, and you start seeing your money going downhill.
Wow.
Then you start waking up. Then, you know, and you know you can't go out there and just blow it. A lot of people are just blowing the money and thinking you're gonna have another day tomorrow, and you don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So now the advice is get the money and put it away for a rainy day.
Yeah. So you did, but did the three of you learn early on how to take care of things? You know, just more so
Yeah,
because it's advice for upcoming people coming into the industry.
yeah. You know, we learned, and a lot of things we did, I wouldn't take it for granted. I mean, I said the things that we did, we spent a lot, and you learn a lot. It's like going in a hotel, you're on the road, and you in love, and you're on the phone with your girl talking for so long on the phone, and you go downstairs and see what your phone bill look like, because you in Switzerland, and you look and you say, yo, but I only talk for a certain amount of time. Man, that thing was clicking. You talking about being homesick. Yeah, so you know, you live and you learn. You know, you go buy these fancy cars, and some people got 2 and 3 cars when you only need maybe 2 if the most. And then later on, you start seeing where your money went. You
Wow.
know, these guys today, they making so much money, and I don't know how they can do it. They go in the strip club and drop $60,000, and I'm like, you out of your mind?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be crazy. Not me.
Yeah, I heard Missy Elliott in an interview saying that she doesn't fly with a private jet because why waste the money? The plane's going to get there at the same time. You know, you just don't waste money. And she's a millionaire, but it's like it can go as quickly as it comes if you start spending it
That's
foolishly. So,
Yeah, and you ain't paying attention, but you know it's hard to find honest people. But when you find them, you need to keep them in your circle. And
yeah,
like today's time, you know, back when we were rolling on the road like that on tour, we never got in trouble. And it makes me look at these guys; they making so much millions, and they stay in trouble.
yeah,
And you know, they don't have the right people in their corner. You know,
yeah. So just going back then, so when the success of the group is going fine, how are your family, family, mums and the rest of the family thinking about, my goodness, he actually made it? What were their thoughts?
the thoughts were they were very happy, but I remember a time when they didn't believe in it. A lot of parents that son or daughter was getting into it, they was like, that stuff ain't gonna work, that ain't gonna last. But when that money started coming in, they started seeing, they started smiling.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So, you know, it's nothing better than being so proud of your kids when they're coming up and they're being successful. And the best feeling in the world is like going in the supermarket with my mom, and we had the checkout counter, and the cashier goes, You're from that group. You're from that group. Can I get an autograph?" And my mother starts smiling. And then one of the guys, we went to an appliance store one day, and she wanted to get a was it a microwave or something? And the guy says, he says, "Oh my God." He said, "Yo," he shook my hand. He says, "Your mom?" I said, "Yeah." He shook my mom's hand. He said, told my mom, "Your son's an icon." He said, "She don't even understand. I grew up on his music." Next thing you know, he told my mom, "I'm going to give you 30% off." She smiled. Yeah,
Wow, man,
yeah,
that's
she
amazing.
smiled.
I mean, but did you always think you were gonna
Yes.
make it? I mean, did you always think you were gonna make it?
It was shaky. It was always shaky. I'll get so close, and then next thing you know, a door closed. I tried another one, that one closed, but then later on, it just came about. And like they said, God works in mysterious ways. He just put it together, and it just happened. So, but I
Yeah,
look at it, and I give God the glory, but I also give the respect and credit to Jallo for adding me part of the group, and Ecstasy. It was a tight group. We were tight, and I really felt in our career when it came to hitting that stage, nobody can touch our show.
yeah.
I always felt that.
What was it like? Because we do hear so much about groups having, as the fame goes, that they have issues and fall their separate ways. What kept the three of you guys together? And
Well, we stayed together for a long time, but being in the group sometimes you're gonna crash. you're gonna crash. And what makes that happen sometimes, it could be something outside of the group. It could be a problem with the record company, ain't doing this and ain't doing that. And the money ain't coming like it used to come. And then you start headbutting each other. And you're going through this, one person seeing one person seeing this, and the next person is seeing another way. And it's three. So all of us got three different personalities. But usually to me, I always said at the end of the day, or we can argue all day, but let's just sit down and you map it out. You got to look at the beginning. What made us?
Yeah.
And what kept us together? And then you look at you go back and look and say what got us this far. It was the unity. It was the unity. And that's why you don't let outsiders get involved. When people see things going good, it's always something that sometimes it could be another group that want to destroy it because they see you progressing and you're doing so well and you reaching your potential and your high level. They want to tear it down. It's outsiders who's not even in there. So I look at, we've been through ups and downs, and you know what? It is always a blessing to see eye to eye, but some groups don't make it like that. But right now I'm doing separate projects, but I'm always gonna be part of Whodini. No matter what you say, you like people might feel, well, y'all ain't together or this and that. But my thing is, you can't repeat history.
Yeah.
Once it's there and it's made, it's there. So my thing is now I'm getting on that. It hurts me to my heart that we lost a partner. And he, to me, was a family member. Like I said, you might have go through ups and downs, but he's always going to be my brother. And I love him to death. But, my thing is now is we lost a good friend. We lost a family member. So what happens now is he would want our legacy to carry on. He wouldn't want us to stop. So my thing is now is I want to create some more music for Whodini, for us, and let's not stop. Like I did an interview a while ago. As long as I got breath in my body, I should be able to record a record.
Yeah, yeah. Does Jaheil share the same thought about still being able to release music under Whodini's banner?
I'm talking to him slowly, and I want to keep his spirits up because he was really hurt behind it, and I was too. And we all grieve different. But I still feel the pain. I feel the loss, which I'll never get over it like that. And I know the happiness within X, and I know the happiness within Jalil, but I know what it's going to take us to get back in the studio. We have to be on the same page, and we have to see eye to eye. All right, we can make this happen again. We can, like they said, we can make the magic happen again.
Yeah, the magic back to magic. Yeah, last year was tough. I mean, sadly I lost my dad the 4th of December.
Sorry, my condolences.
Yeah, thank you. So it was really, it's been really a lot of people, close people, a lot of people passed on, and there is that sense of, do you honor the legacy by, trying to do what you think they'd want to do and stuff. So with Ecstasy, it took a lot of people by surprise because it's still under, still under 56 or 57, so that's still very young and stuff. But I was just trying to go back to where you guys were doing your shows, and you had records like One Love and Friends and Freaks Come Out at Night, which are crossing over to pop side.
Mm-hmm.
Was that opening the doors for bigger shows and bigger headline stuff for you guys? Because
yes, it did. You got to look at it because, like I was saying earlier, a lot of the groups were out back then. A lot of the records were like underground. It was the music that Larry created. It was like an orchestra almost, but it was great feeling of the music. But like I said, the rappers were talking about themselves. Now you look at the greatness of Jalil. We're creating the chorus and the hooks and writing about something. Friends. How many of us have them? You
Yeah.
gotta look at the one love. So now rap is not underground where you could say, oh, they just a bunch of jibber jibber jabber. No, they are talking about something.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're grabbing the adults. We are grabbing the adults that probably would have said, no, I don't like that rap,
yeah,
but I
yeah,
like Whodini because they're saying something.
yeah,
So, and the beats was funky and it was friendly. It was danceable.
yeah, yeah,
You got
yeah,
to look at the freaks come around at night.
yeah,
The hook stayed in your head.
yeah, yeah. Very
Yeah, the
pop.
hook
Very,
was
yeah,
incredible.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
so
what.
that's what separated us.
Yeah, but that's what a lot of
That
hip hop. That's
separated
what.
us from the other groups.
Yeah, that's what hip hop
But
started to do in the '90s. Is they started to go on R&B
mm-hmm,
tracks to cross over because if you go to the to the mid early '90s or so, there was very much, when you think of say Das Effect or Redman and stuff, it was very very hip hop stuff on the streets. But you weren't crossing over. But when they started to
mm-hmm.
rap on Jay-Z, when they started rapping on R&B stuff, they started getting onto the radio. They started getting onto the mainstream. They started to get on the charts, and that's where the money comes in. But you guys did that really first. I mean, well, Sugar Hill Gang and
Yes,
stuff. But you guys in those early days realized if you make music for the masses, you get bigger doors that open up, bigger shows, and bigger bigger paychecks. I would assume as well.
yes.
Of all your tracks, which would you say would you if you were to say number one, two, and three of all the ones you guys released? What would be number three?
Uh, number three probably be really all of them was hits.
Yeah, yeah,
I,
but
I can't even hold back. I mean, Funky Beat was funky. 5 Minutes of Funk was funky. Friends was funky. I'm a Hoe was funky. Really, all the tracks were incredible. And One Love, it was all incredible because all our albums we would come with full of hits,
what was your
and
favorite
that's
then?
what we wanted.
So what
My
would be your
favorite was, it had to be Funky Beat because I rapped on it.
yeah, yeah, okay,
but
okay.
but Friends is my greatest, and One Love too. You got to give One Love because it's all about love, man. It's all about bringing love to people and that good vibe. And Friends, I mean, you can make any beat, but the lyrics got to match that beat. And
Yeah,
Jalil was incredible with the pen. He,
yeah,
he, he was incredible on writing. So, he gave it to you. He gave it to you. And Larry Smith, you got to take your hat off to him. They
yeah,
always seem to leave Larry out, but I'm going to promote Larry every time I get a chance.
yeah. But you know what? And the reason I asked because I did a poll yesterday, and I think I sent it to you. But it's about almost 2,000 people who responded, and I put down Friends, One Love, Freaks Come Out at
Uh-huh.
Night, 5 Minutes of Funk,
Yeah,
and
I
Magic
seen that.
Wand. And about 33% said Freaks Come Out at Night. So most people said that,
Yeah,
followed closely by One Love. But it was hard. And then
yeah.
people mentioned Funky Beats and all the songs that I couldn't because I could only put five,
Uh-huh.
and they were mentioning all this stuff. So, but what it shows is that you guys weren't just like a one-hit wonder. Sugar Hill Gang, I could think of one or two tracks, but you guys had variety, big bangers that everyone could just pick and stuff. And as I said, you guys became like a global band without I don't yeah you mentioned going on tour, but as I said, you didn't come to Africa, I don't think. But you guys were
Nah,
big.
and
Yeah, but you guys were
just
big. That
we would love,
yeah. I think
we would love to come back. So,
yeah. But then when the '90s come, before you signed to Jermaine, and the landscape changes it slightly, what happens to you guys? Because do you guys start to does the hip hop takes a very different stage,
it
and
took
you guys
a turn. Yeah, it took a different turn because you had the Big Daddy Kanes, you had
okay
all these rappers coming out, then
Modi
you
and all yeah
you had the Snoop Dogg, it was a new breed. So now we had to find a good home, and we went to MCA. We did the album with MCA Records, and they didn't push it like they were supposed to. But later on, we go do a single. Uh, Got to give credit to Chuck D from Public Enemy for reaching out to us and Terminator X, and we did it all come down to money, and we had a video for that, but it gave us a buzz. It gave us a buzz and gave us a spark, And then that's when we went to Jermaine Dupri.
Okay.
And give him the credit for signing us too.
Yeah. But did you then think, if we can't get, did you still think you guys could Jahil, does he still think he could still keep on pace with what was happening? Or what was
I
your
really think we felt it, but we started feeling things slipping. We didn't have that magic no more. It's just like a spark in the NBA player.
Yeah.
When the magic slow down, all we want to do is find a good home and keep it moving.
Yeah.
And try to create more hits.
So, I mean, because a lot of bands when they lose their record deal, they then tour based on their hits. Was that what did you guys then start thinking? Well, if we can't start releasing stuff, we can still tour, or what happened?
Yeah, it was a blessing. It was a blessing with that because what happened after that was we got a call from Unsung. P. Frank Williams gave me a call and reached out to me. But right before that, it's 2007, VH1 Hip Hop Honors
Yeah, I
gave
remember
us a
that.
call. And on there from 2004 to 2005, I was going to see the other groups get on it. And one guy interviewed me and said, do you feel odd because they're not honoring y'all yet? But I told him, it's not going in order. So I said, but when our time comes, it'll be the right time. But right after they called us, and then when Unsung gave me a call, that's what made me say, yeah, let's do this, because that will give us some more leverage and keep us. And that added a notch to us, because right after we did Unsung, a lot of people started calling. And you got to think about it. We were the group that can tour with anybody. We could tour with rap groups, or we could tour with R&B groups. We're doing shows with Cameo, Midnight Star, Climax. We were doing shows with what was their name? Ohio Players, Blue Magic.
Wow.
We fit right in there, because we had the R&B feel.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
with Heat Wave too.
Ooh, wow. Yeah, I mean, as I said, I mean, you guys had major hits, and as you said, being able to tour Europe really opens you up to a variety of music. I mean, going forward, then, I mean, you said you've got other things going on. I mean, what can people expect to hear from you?
Well, right now I got a single out with a good friend of mine. We've been friends for over 45 years. He used to rap with my brother. The name of their group was Velo and Double O, and I lost my brother like 4 years ago through cancer. And may he rest in peace. And his partner contacted me and asked me, do I want to do a single? And once I heard the track, I said, yo, it's a hit. It's a hit. So I got on it with him, and we got it out. We just finished the video. His name is Abu Valor, and it's called Time for a New Rap Style.
Okay.
And it's out. It's out on all platforms of Sony Orchard, and Humag TV is help promoting it. But it's Sony Orchard, and it's hitting. And we're not stopping. I got different groups I'm going to work with, and different artists. I just want to create something that I always wanted to do. Like even all the old groups from back in the 70s, I always wanted to do with those type of groups, because I can feel it. And I know that type of music, even the disco music, it should never die because it still sounds good today.
Yeah. But then are you doing what Larry used to do, more as a producer now?
I'm getting involved with a lot of things, and I have a guy that lays the tracks, and I just give him the ideas and we roll with it.
Okay.
Yeah,
And
peace to Mark Boogie Brown.
okay. So do you think, there's a possibility, when things settle down, that we might see Whodini back on the road, when concerts are around, or in some form, or would you then find yourself as Grandmaster Dee featuring somebody else on the road? What do you think?
I really feel now that stuff that I always wanted to do that I didn't do, I'm trying to do it now. Pursue this career as putting out records and with different people, different artists. But my home is always going to be part of Whodini, and I feel that if we on the same page, me and Jalo can do something. If we on the same page, we got to be on the same page, and you know, by being on the same page is like, yo, you get to writing and I get to creating the songs, and you can help create it with me. And not only that, I just want to put out good music and good lyrics, and you know, even for the groups that are out there looking for a label deal or something, you know, because we got distribution behind us, and
No.
I just don't want to stop. I love music. I
Yeah.
take that to my heart. And I always love being in the group Whodini, and they can't take that away from me. You know, we're part of history. We are icons, and we
Yeah.
are legends.
Definitely.
And I really felt that even back in the days, we never get that credit that we deserve. And right now, I feel like Whodini should have been in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame a long time ago. And I think it's time. And we should have got a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Grammys. But when we were out with friends and all that, they didn't have no category for rap. So
Yeah.
now you got it. You need to give us our just due.
No, definitely, and I think that's the shame where we think about, you know, yourselves, Curtis Blow, Sugar Hill Gang, Grandmaster, people who paved the way. Hip hop is now probably the, you know, the
Yeah,
biggest selling form of
yeah,
music, and but they don't remember, they don't sort of go back and remember the past and stuff. But definitely
yeah.
Real Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You definitely right. And I always feel it's time. I mean, it's the right time to always do this. You always take your hat off and always give credit to those people like the Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five and the Cold Crush Brothers and the Fantastic Romantic Five, the Funky Four plus one more, Africa Bambaataa. All those brothers, Grand Wizard Theodore, Breakout and the Baron. All those DJs and MCs that came before us, they need to get their just due. They need to get their respect they deserve, because it wasn't for them, it would be no us. And
Yeah.
that's why I open them out.
Yeah, and I would hope it's, you know, at VH1, you know, we have to give credit back in the, when, you know, they started this stuff, and, you know, and did the honors and stuff. You'd hope Soul Train or BET would push, and then they also try and get it, try and get the Grammys, American Music Award, all of them.
Yeah. And they need to give Mr. Magic a Lifetime Achievement Award for breaking the grounds for rap on radio. And I want to shout out two partners that I knew that was good, and they were big in the DJ world. DJ Lance out of Brooklyn, aka Master Dee from Brooklyn, and Tommy Allen,
Yeah.
another good brother. Both of them passed away. May they rest in peace, man. But I just want to shout them out.
Well, yeah, I definitely have to appreciate you coming on, because I guess it's going to be interesting for, you know, when people watch and listen to start to say yes, whether it's on a petition or stuff, but to start to say, hey, you know, because we try and reflect back on the on the groups. A lot of, you know, DJ Cassidy did a lot with the Pastor Mike, and really
Yeah,
tried
that
to
was.
honor. But he didn't go back far enough to the 70s and
Yo,
early, but he kind of kept it within a range. But in a way, they're trying to say, look, before we got to where we are now, there were people who paved the way and stuff, and, you know, hopefully we get more of that, and hopefully you guys could connect and do your own sort of thing. Yeah, you know, I remember KRS-One did his Stop the Violence movement, got all these people together
yes,
to do
that was
something,
great.
and it may be something that you guys could try and connect, you know, or and, you know, do a collective sort of old school collective, spitting a verse and stuff like that, which in itself will generate a massive buzz.
Yes, and you got to send me your email so I can get you the single, and not only that, you need to put a bug in the air out there in Africa so we can come out there and do the show.
Yeah, no, definitely. But what I will do once I will send the email, because once this goes out, you know, if your stuff, if you've got your stuff monetized, once we'll start promoting it, so at least people can start to listen as well, and still start to generate the buzz as well for you. So that will definitely be good. But I definitely
Thank
appreciate coming on board and stuff. I think the final question I always ask all my guests is that if you were stuck in an elevator and you had to pick a movie to watch, what would you pick?
you. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh, oh man, that's tough. Might be Coolie High.
Good guy. Okay. And then, any favorite song?
Oh, if I was stuck in the elevator, any favorite song?
Yeah.
I'll put the Paul McCartney. Remember, stuck behind these four walls.
Okay. Oh man, Grandmaster Dee, I appreciate, and I know my thing's gonna cut off in about 15 seconds, but I really appreciate you coming on board and stuff. I'll send you my email so we can get your music and get it out there once the interview goes out next week. But it's been an honor to listen and hear from you and stuff. And we'll start a campaign to really make sure you guys get your just dues.
All right, thank you, my brother, for having me. I begin to